Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of lecture Prototyping and Smart UI. In the first part we have discussed primarily about prototyping. So let's go for the second part, that is Smart UI. So what is Smart UI? A Smart UI refers to an intelligent user interfaces that leverages AI, machine learning to adapt user behavior and optimize the user experience and provide some predictive insights. So these interfaces are designed to be intuitive, context aware and efficient so that it enhancing both usability and the accessibility. So the key points, it includes AI integration, AI driven personalization and adaptability to help different kind of users that you have based on their strength and limitations. Context awareness, so real-time adjustment based on the user context. For example, the same user could be in different scenarios, different situations, different environment, how they can perform the same task in different conditions. That is something you can help with. Efficiency, so streamlines tasks through intelligent automation. So what are the benefits of smart UI? These are couple of benefits, but not limited to that only. So the first and foremost important is efficiency. So it streamlines workflow and reduces user effort. So if you can somehow help your users in improving the performance, probably taking less time to complete the task and probably even better way, I think the user is going to have very good user experience with the system that you have. Consistency, so AI maintains design standard across the platforms. So often we have also seen that if you're going to build different UIs for the different pages, while reviewing the different government websites, we have seen that, I mean, the layout or probably the color scheme or probably the information flow is not consistent across different pages, and which basically lead to the bad user experience. So AI basically help you in following those design standard across the platform and maintain it accordingly. So it help you in real-time adaptation. So interface adjust on the fly or based on the user needs you have. It enhances accessibility. So AI can automatically adjust to support users with different abilities. So for example, you are building some kind of learning app or probably a running app or something. So how you the different people with disabilities going to use it can basically your system can somehow support, your interface can accordingly basically can support facilitating these kind of users. So some real world examples are Microsoft adaptive UI in Office Suite. If you have tried that, so I just ribbon and tool based on the user behavior. So you might have also seen Duolingo language learning. So it adapt lessons to the user's learning pace using AI. So if you know about examination like TOEFL or probably many others, GRE and so on, in a way they also use some kind of adaptive examination based on the kind of answer you're providing. So some real world example of smart UI, one of the my favorite example is Tesla. As you can see that Tesla's autopilot, in this case the car's interface adapt to the road condition and the driver behavior, and it works accordingly. Similarly, Spotify is another popular example you can see. So in Spotify music recommendation, it uses machine learning to curate personalized playlists like Discover, Weekly, and so on. And more real world example that you can see around your real world life. So for example, many of you have seen that there are different payment terminals, just like probably this used to be at different grocery store, at different shop and so on, because these days, especially in the era of digital world, nobody carries cash. In that case, people often prefer to pay through the cards or other ways instead of giving cash. So in this case, you can see one of the early payment terminal that often you see that. So it has keys. So once you insert your card, it asks you to insert your PIN. So in this case, you can see that after you insert the PIN, for example, 4613, after entering this 4-digit PIN, you probably perform the transaction and you can see that. But is there any issue with that? Some way the person sitting or standing beside you, they somehow see what the PIN that you have, and often it can be misused, and card cloning and probably many such fraud is happening. So how to basically avoid such scam or fraud? So that's where basically now the new payment terminal systems, they have often changed from key based payment terminal to more digital payment terminal. And one of the major benefit, at least you can see here, because the position of all the keys are fixed. So for example, based on your typing pattern, based on your clicking pattern, if I click like this, so these are, for example, number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So in that case, based on the position, you first press this, then this, then this. So it's very likely that the some intruder basically can see what's your pin is, because the key positions are fixed. So in order to solve this, so newer design, while solving this problem, they come up with the digital keys. So where it doesn't follow the same key as like this. So it might be the case 1 is here, then 5 is here, then probably 7 is here, then 2 is here, then probably 9 is here, and then 3, and so on. And at different time, so these positions will be even different, so that the imposter or probably the person sitting beside you can't guess that just based on your finger positions, which button, which numbers you are pressing for your pin. So in a way, I mean, this is an example of, you can say that, smart UI. So these payment terminals, so payment using the Paytm terminal with physical keys, digital keys, and now we are more into the QR code things. You can simply you can say one of the smart user interface, rather than probably um, entering even the amount. The user basically the vendor simply already probably even put the amount. You simply have to QR code and it will automatically fetch the vendor payment details, and you can just simply pay it. So the benefit, at the same time the drawback, as we discussed, it involves potential technical issues. It could basically also have dependency on the internet connectivity, and acquiring these payment terminals also involve cost and so on. At the same time, the benefits is payment terminals offer secure, convenient transactions, increasing sales and efficiency. Now you see, I mean, if you're even driving on the road, you often see that the traffic police now just holding this. Earlier, it was all the challan was in terms of cash, and that's where a lot of corruption was happening. But after this, now there is quite limited possibility of uh, having the corruption. So where basically you can directly pay uh, to the transport department using your card. So more examples are there. So you can visualize Google Maps, similarly Tesla's in-car interface. So I leave this as an activity for you to probably explore what all the smart UI they have. For example, Google Map offers predictive route suggestions, real-time traffic updates, and adapting rerouting based on the user location and traffic patterns. And the smart UI aspect it has is like the interface adapts based on the previous searches, commute habits, current traffic conditions, and offering quick and relevant suggestions. So I would like you to basically explore and go through the examples of Tesla in-cars interface. You can also read about Apple's Watch, Amazon's Alexa, Duolingo, smart home lighting, for example, Philips Hue, and so on, Google Photos, Slack, and so on. So these smart UI aspect, what you can design, how you can incorporate something which is rather than being fixed, but probably adapt to the situation, adapt to the environment, adapt to the user, and facilitate them in accomplishing the task. So often you might have seen that we are talking about the example of Google Maps. So when you are using Google Maps, you can use in the day, you can use in the night, you can use in probably some tunnel, and you might have probably noticed that the UI of Google Map also changes over the time. Similarly, UI, for example, you are going on one particular destination via one route, and you got to know that there is some accident happens. Again, probably it may take input from some crowdsourcing, or probably Google also find out, for example, through satellite and many other the ways probably you can get some real time information, and accordingly it can suggest you, rather than going probably from this route, for example, from Delhi to Mumbai. Earlier it was taking, for example, uh, 2 days by car, but now it will be even longer. So it's better to probably go via this city rather than other city. Similarly, Paytm, Arif Setu app. So all these applications have different smart UI aspect. You can think about it, you can visualize it. So probably some of them are listed here, and it's still the case that many of the features, many of the interfaces that you interact with these apps still not smart UI. So I would like you to basically think aloud about it and see which one you can basically make smarter, to again following all the design principle, and also basically make it more accessible, inclusive, easy to use, and so on. Similarly, I mean, you can go for consider the case of Zomato, what all the smart UI aspect it has to adapt the user behavior, personalize food recommendations, trending restaurants, and so on. Similarly, Ola, one of the popular uh, car service, similar to Uber. So you can also think of, they have other smart UI aspect like real-time tracking, where your driver has come, how far they are, adapt to the traffic patterns of accurate estimated arrival time. It learns user preference like ride type, auto rickshaw, cab, bike, or whatever, and integrates the local payment methods like UPI, cards, or other easier transactions. So you can also think about Flipkart, you can also think about Airtel Thanks app, and many other around your real world, and try to think about what all kind of interfaces they have, what kind of functionalities they have, how you can make them more smarter, especially in the era of machine learning, in the era of large language models, how you can basically accomplish the performing the task in better, easier, efficient, and effective way, and how you can improve the user experience of your user while using the system, and so on. So what is AI oriented UI? So a user interface that uses AI to provide tailored content, predict user needs, and enhances interactivity. So it involves technique like natural language processing, computer vision, speech processing, and recommendation algorithms. So the key benefit is, and it is not just limited to these three. So personalization, so customize the experience based on the user preferences. Predictive analysis, so anticipate the user actions and suggest solutions. Automation, streamlines process, reducing the user's cognitive load. Some real world example that you can see of AI oriented UI. So for example, in this case, you might have seen that the Crew Dragon touch screen interfaces that you have seen in the SpaceX uh, shuttle, and you can see that. So here basically the crew interacting with these interfaces by touching them, interacting with them. So there are different touch points, as you can see here, how they can manage it. So in this case, you can see that the Crew Dragon spacecraft uses AI assisted touchscreen instead of traditional control panels. The AI helps astronauts by automating routine tasks and providing real-time guidance, making operations smoother and safer. Similar things you can think about the Google Maps. traffic conditions. So I leave this to you as an activity to complete this. So what all the feature it has: adaptive layout, because adjust UI based on the device, based on the user, based on the behavior, based on the patterns, based on the environment. Similarly, recommendation system, so suggest relevant content or actions. Voice and gesture control, so it enables seamless hands-free interaction, which is more human are accustomed to. That is more the natural language conversation that we have. And so conversational interfaces, so use chatbot to enhance customer support, because you it may not be possible for you to probably provide a real customer care support for example billions of users you have, millions of users you have, all 24 cross 7. So Netflix real world examples, you can see that. So Netflix have very popular recommendation system which uses AI to personalize movie show recommendations and so on. Similarly, Apple's Face ID, a smart interface that uses computer vision to recognize face and unlock devices securely. So many of you use different smartphones. The way you unlock the phone with the fingerprint, with the probably eyes, with the face, and again, even you can make it even complex or simpler. You can think of the role of AI or probably the smart UI there to probably make it more fun or probably more robust. So one of the area that is there in biometrics are called continuous user authentication, because you might have seen that your friend is sleeping and probably you unlock your his phone by just putting his finger on the phone, and you can do n number of tasks with that or probably misuse it. So that's where it requires the necessity of continuous authentication, which again you can handle through smart user interface, smart functionality in your system. So what is automatic UI evaluation? How to evaluate them? So the use of AI tools to automatically evaluate and assess the usability, aesthetics, and the effectiveness of user interface. So it helps designer to identify issues, improve accessibility, and optimize layout without manual testing, because sometimes manual testing is not feasible given the scale, given the environment, and so on. So the key points include automated usability testing, performance metric, and aesthetic analysis. So where automated usability testing is about UI tools that simulate user behavior to find potential issues. So what if, for example, mm, you are in some particular situation, how you are going to behave it. Similarly, um, that's where basically a lot of simulation studies are happening to doing all those testing. So performance metrics, so track interaction metrics like click rates, completion times, engagement, to tell more about the performance. And similarly, aesthetics analysis, so check visual harmony, color schemes, and the readability. So some real world examples, you can see that Google's Lighthouse tools, so it automatically assesses website performance, accessibility, and SEO, search engine optimization. So Adobe Sensei, it uses AI, image editing, and design assistance, ensuring layout balance. So there are several challenges and consideration in smart UI. So privacy concerns, so data collection and uses for AI driven personalization, how it is going to be useful. So that's where we discuss the example of that's where we discuss the guideline of ethical concerns, IRB, and many other stuff. So bias in algorithms, so AI model can reinforce bias if not properly managed, and that's where we see that many examples are there where the existing AI systems are biased. So for example, in resume shortlisting, we have discussed one example in earlier lectures about Amazon's AI-based recruitment tool, which is biased in nature for female. Similarly, over reliance on automation. So excessive automation can reduce user control, which probably, and that eventually can lead to the bad user experience. Complexity, so that is advanced AI feature that may lead to steep learning curve for some users. Examples are, so Facebook's algorithm bias, instance of AI suggesting inappropriate content, that we have seen that it's not only in Facebook but also on many e-commerce websites and so. So Google's privacy control, so that regular updates to update AI features with the user privacy. And there are several popular tools which are being used: Adobe XD Plus plugins for creating smart and interactive prototypes, Figma, AI-powered collaborative features with real-time feedback, Sketch, so that design system management with plugins for automation, Google Analytics and Hotjar, so track user interaction and behavior analytics, Extra RP, so prototype with advanced interactivity and automation features. So examples include Adobe's XD's Auto Animate, so create smart animation for prototypes with a minimal effort. Hotjar's heat map, so visual tools to see where user click and scroll on the website. And that's where basically you can understand the user behavior. Does the user is doing the task the way you want to, the whether the some, for example, on e-commerce website you have placed somewhere sale or some notice, does it attracts user attention? So that is something you can focus on. So there are several emerging trends related to AR VR as we discussed, and that is more for integration with the immersive UIs. So voice first interface, so UIs that prioritize voice commands, so Alexa, Google Assistant, that is something we have discussed. So emotion recognition, so UIs that respond to user emotion using facial recognition. So zero UI interface, so reducing visible UI element in favor of natural interactions. So Apple's design is something like that, Tesla design is something around that. So that's why, I mean, they're also getting quite huge traction. So some real world example, you can see Google Lens, so AI powered camera that can identify objects and translate text in real time. So you might be aware Meta has also come up with one similar glass uh, with the collaboration with Ranbay, so where they can again do something similar, probably even better way, which Google Lens was not able to do. So BMWs are AR navigation, where augmented reality to project navigation instruction onto the windshield that you have in the car. So to summarize, Smart UI leverages artificial intelligence to create adaptive, efficient, and personalized user experiences. So the use of AI in automatic UI evaluation saves time and offers unbiased insights. As technology advances, Smart UI will continue to evolve, making user experiences more seamless and intuitive. So for example, Samsung's One UI, an interface that adapts to the user's hand grip for one-handed use. So those who may be using Samsung's phone, when you start your phone or restart your phone, you see there is one UI optimization is happening. So that is something is happening there. So AI will redefine the future of UI design by making interfaces smarter rather than fixed and not just prettier. That's what Chris told, and I agree with him. So going forward, these are additional materials as part of this lecture. So we are going to have a tutorial on prototyping by our amazing TA Ritik Bamba. Going forward, we are going to have a discussion on prototyping by our wonderful students Shlok, Sanjana and Hardy, and releasing the assignment for that. So these are the further reading materials, and I encourage you to go through them for further details. Thank you. With this, we stop here and looking forward to see you in the next lecture.